First 3 starts of the season, he has struggled. His ERA is approaching 6 now. He's given up 24 home runs in 26 starts. Last year, his home run total was not quite half of that, but much less than it has been this year. The home run has especially hurt him in his last 3 starts. In his last 10 starts, he's winless. He's had 3 no decisions, and his ERA is over 8 in his last 10 starts. He's a good pitcher, but he's in a little bit of a rut now, and he's been struggling. He has pitched some pretty good games, a couple of them in this ballpark against the Rangers.
He had a complete game shutout against the Rangers last year here. A part of what Bannister's been dealing with. He's had a tough time with runners in scoring position. Just can't get that key out. We talk about the Rangers needing to get the key hit. And sometimes it's all about the pitcher getting the key out when the game's on the line. Brian Bannister's just had a devil of a time with that. A .341 batting average allowed with runners in scoring position. That is the worst in the major leagues right now. But as you can see, he's got good stuff. He strikes out Joaquin Arias.
You got him to chase a pitch way up and out of the strike zone.
Michael Young will come up next. We'll check the Kansas City defense for you. Germán, DeJesus, and Guillen out there in the outfield. Tian, Aviles, Callaspo, and Glode in the infield. Bannister works with Miguel Olivo, who had one of those errors last night, and that was a big one. That was the one that led to the Rangers winning the game 2-1. The Rangers did not score an earned run in that game yesterday. It was just the 12th time in team history, we're told, that they won a game without plating an earned run.
Bannister has pitched significantly better at home this year than he has on the road. At home, his ERA is very respectable, better than that, .379. He's had 14 starts at home, but in 12 road starts, his ERA is about 8. 5-6 at home, 2-7 on the road.
A part of the pounding he's taken on the road, what happened to him against the Yankees a week and a half ago.
Yeah, that'll do it to you.
Boy, you thought what, and again, there's another good strikeout pitch. As it's Boggs down on strikes, and obviously we have a little adjustment to talk about here. That lineup that we showed you. It would appear that let's see. Well,
Hamilton's not playing.
Yeah, it would be because Young's batting here, so
you would have to guess that Bird would be in center now. Boggs will be in the outfield instead of Hamilton, and they've switched the batting order. Boggs second, Young third, and probably the way it's supposed to be after that.
Well, a little wrinkle in our scorebooks here. I apologize. I was looking something up on Bannister and completely missed it there, but it is, I guess, Boggs second, Young third, and it does appear to be Milton still batting fourth. Michael Young, line shot. That's the inning. So 2 strikeouts and a line out, and a nice start for Brian Bannister. We'll get you to the Matt Harrison pitching performance when we come back. Brian Bannister went right through it in the top of the first inning without much of a problem, and now the Rangers will hope that the Royals will not come up and get anything done in a quick measure. You've got the Southwest Airlines starting lineup featuring Mike Aviles, Alberto Callaspo, and David DeJesus off the top. Then Guillen and Butler, Olivo and Glode. Mark Tian playing some third base with Alex Gordon on the DL. One-time Ranger Esteban Germán is in left. And the Rico scouting report on Matt Harrison.
This year he's 5-3, 3.16 ERA in his 5 wins, 12.38 in the other 4 starts. Let's hope this is a win tonight. Had a real good start a couple of starts ago, and then struggled a little bit in his last start. His last start was against Cleveland. He pitched 3 2/3 innings in that start. And he's off to a good start in this one.
Yep, he gets Aviles, a guy with a 9-game hitting streak to bounce out. And just surveying the landscape here, it does appear, Tag, that you're absolutely right about the Rangers defensively. Bird will go into center. And Brandon Boggs to left field. We have no report at all on what's up with Josh Hamilton. But obviously, whatever happened right before game time, because there was no mention of it here in the press box.
Well, if Matt has good command tonight, then you would think he'd be able to work around the plate and get Kansas City to do the same thing that they did last night against Kevin Millwood. Swing at some pitches out of the strike zone. It looked like Aviles might have swung at a sinker a little bit outside and hit it off the end of the bat. We'll see how Matt is able to work that way. Fastball on the inside corner.
Keep in mind the Royals haven't drawn a walk in 22 innings. And obviously the majority of that is with the Rangers in town. They've been around for 18 of those innings. That ball socked in a left. And Brandon Boggs backpedaling. He will put it away. I guess it's one thing to be aggressive, which the Royals certainly are. But, I mean, it's tough to go 21 innings without a walk unless you're facing Greg Maddux 2 or 3 games in a row.
Well, you don't want aggressive to substitute for undisciplined. You want to be a disciplined hitter. Milton Bradley's an aggressive hitter, but he's a disciplined hitter. He'll be aggressive if you throw him a strike, but he won't swing at a ball. That's aggressive. You don't become successful by being aggressive, swinging at everything the minute the pitcher lets go of the ball. That's undisciplined. That leads to low on base percentage, and when you're doing it as a team, it's impossible to put rallies together and score a lot of runs. The Rangers have been the best offensive team in the league this year because they've got good hitters who are aggressive and very disciplined. Leads to a lot of walks, prolongs rallies, gets more men on base, and ultimately leads to more runs.
Busted bad bouncer from DeJesus. And they can't ask for better than that. A 1-2-3 first inning. Only 9 pitches needed for Matt Harrison.
Where Southwest fans know first. FSN Southwest.
Hot ticket time from now till the middle of the 3rd inning. Tickets in the Fox box are only $12 for the game on Monday, September 1st against Seattle. Call 972 Rangers to take advantage. Hope you're making plans to come see the Rangers, whether it's against Seattle or Boston on this upcoming homestand. The Mariners in during the week. Red Sox over the weekend. We're just talking about the difference, I guess, between being, oh, look out, Milton makes a catch right there, being selective and being aggressive, and how you reconcile the two. Milton Bradley leading the league in on-base percentage, and not for nothing leading the league in batting average too.
Which is a perfect example that you can do both. Be selective, be patient, and be aggressive.
Jack Cust of Oakland is leading the league in walks, is right up there in on-base percentage, but he's hitting .238. Milton, well, was hitting .324. That'll now be .323. 3 strikeouts already for Brian Bannister.
He's located his pitches really well, especially with 2 strikes.
We were talking about that game he had at Yankee Stadium, Tag. It was 1 inning, 10 hits, 10 runs, all earned, 3 home runs, 3 walks. You talk about the roof just caving in on you. Wow. It was actually the 1st inning and then 3 batters in the 2nd. It was a 7-run first, and he was responsible for 3 in the 2nd, but it goes in the box score as 1/10/10/10. Ugh.
Well, so far in this game, he doesn't look like a pitcher who's given up 8 home runs in his last 3 starts.
No, Rangers hitting the ball on the ground if they're hitting it at all. Blaylock bouncing out.
You mentioned before the ball game that he has a 10-start winless streak. His last win came on June 23rd against Colorado. Since that time, he's 0-7 with 3 no decisions.
You mentioned Colorado. Did you notice they're back within 6 games of first place again?
No, I didn't.
I mean, they're not getting killed off here. Arizona keeps losing. The Dodgers keep losing. Colorado is winning. And remember how they ended last year.
You never know. They've won 4 straight. The Dodgers have lost 5 and Arizona's lost 3. Boy, that would be just incredible if they did that this year.
Do it back-to-back years.
They would speak just as much to their comeback as it would to the collapse of the 2 teams ahead of them.
Well, Kansas City has absolutely collapsed. 3-16 the last 3 weeks. I'll give the Rangers some credit in that department, Tag. I mean, they were, kind of in a similar boat. A 2-7 homestand, but now they're 2-0 on this road trip against their spring training partners, the Kansas City Royals.
Well, Bannister is getting a lot of swings and misses right now. So he's doing something right. I would probably lean toward location as much as anything. The velocity on his fastball is 89 or 90, which is about average.
A walk to a hot hitter.
Trying to get the ball in on him, which he did, but a little too far in. And again, the telltale sign of a ball is when the catcher tries to catch the ball and rake it toward the strike zone, which Olivo did there, which, not that that was a controversial pitch. That was a pretty easy call for home plate umpire Paul Emmel.
Nelson Cruz with a tapper back to Bannister. So after the walk, a first pitch swing from Nelly. And the Rangers still without a hit. They strand 1 because of the walk. Will play the bottom of inning 2, no score.
Hoy en FSN, ya sabe la clave, agarre su control remoto, busque en el menú el SAP y lo encuentra en español el día de hoy con un servidor, Elena Ornelas, aquí desde el Estadio Kauffman. Así que vámonos con la acción aquí desde el Estadio Kauffman a través de
broadcast is
FSN.
brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Even Eleno's broadcast booth looks like a work in progress here in Kansas City. Don't know if the $250 million upgrade they're doing here will include the visiting Spanish radio broadcast booth, but I do know that this ballpark, already a beautiful ballpark, is on its way to being even more impressive. Jose Guillen, the first out in the bottom of the second. Billy Butler to the plate.
Kevin Millwood in last night's game got 1/3 of his outs, 9 outs on a first pitch.
There's a first pitch. It's under the glove of Arias, on into right. Boy, these guys are just firing, these Kansas City Royals hitters.
And Matt almost had 2 of them right there. Guillen popped up to right. Butler's been finding some holes in this series.
Yeah.
Had a couple of soft singles to the outfield last night, and then kind of chops this little weak ground ball into right field.
High school teammate of the Rangers, Eric Hurley. Remember, Eric made his big league debut right here in Kansas City back in June. Butler actually began his year with a 13-game hitting streak, and I think a lot of people expected that this would be a big year for Big Billy Butler. Hasn't quite happened for him. In fact, he spent some time in AAA.
Yeah, he's still 21 or 22 years old. Former high draft choice. Excellent hitting prospect. He's a young guy, but he's a DH. And the Royals knew that when they drafted him. They envision him being a guy that can bat in the middle of their order, a guy that doesn't strike out very much, makes good contact.
Kind of like Mike Sweeney, who they had earlier.
Yeah, Mike Sweeney, more of a veteran guy, but that's how he was used. Played a little bit of first base, and I'm sure Butler can play a little bit of first base as well. But with all young players, it doesn't necessarily come easy and quickly. You have to go through some growing pains, and they're doing that with Butler, with Gordon, who's hurt right now. Well, if you keep swinging at it, he's going to keep throwing it to you.
Miguel Olivo is a strikeout victim, and he too, if you didn't notice, fired away at that first pitch.
I think the worst thing you can do to a Kansas City hitter is throw him a good pitch to hit on the first pitch. He threw him three pitches tailing down and away. Off-speed pitches, the last 2 way out in front of him, and struck him out. It just makes no sense. intentionally to throw them a good pitch to hit on the first pitch. Now, you may try to hit the corner and have a ball tail out right over the plate and have it hit. Nothing you can do about that. But the intent should be to keep it slightly out of the strike zone, because they're probably going to swing at it more often than not anyway. I'm not so sure as a team that becoming patient is something you can do without changing some of the faces on the team. I guess there's probably been some cases of very undisciplined hitters early in their career becoming disciplined hitters as their career went on. But while you can show some improvement along the way, I think most disciplined hitters start out that way.
Boy, there's Ross Gloden, and he's a veteran guy. He's up over top of that. That's 2 strikeouts in the inning for Harrison. The Royals keep swinging, and there's not a lot happening. No score at the end of 2. Texas Ranger Baseball being brought to you tonight by your Texas Dodge dealers and by Geico Insurance. Frank Catalanato, so happy with his fantasy football draft, he tells us. Will be chatting with us later as part of our Texas truck stop. We will talk to the cat in a little bit. Hank Blaylock used the dry erase board in the clubhouse today. He was Mel Kiper Jr. He graded everybody's drafts.
Who do you like the best?
Well, he gave Catalanato an A. And he gave himself an A, and then he came back and he saw somebody had erased the A, and next to Blaylock it said D-.
That had to be Gerald Laird.
No, he thinks it was Kinsler. Although you could be right. Kinsler looked awfully sheepish when accused. Busted bat, a fly ball from Davis is going to dunk on into right field. The bat dies a hero for Davis. Chris hitting in that 270 range. And showing that it's not all about hitting for power all the time. Mix in a single now and again, that's fine.
But, you know, here's a young player for the Rangers if you want to make some comparisons. Jared Saltalamacchi hasn't been playing regularly. But let's just look at what he's done left-handed. Batting left-handed, he's been up 113 times, knocked in 19 runs. That's pretty good run production for 113 bats. But more importantly, he's walked 24 times. So his on-base percentage left-handed is .420. Overall, his on-base percentage is .345, which is still pretty decent. He's struggled a little bit right-handed, but here's a young player who is a disciplined hitter. He's still inexperienced, but as you project him down the road, one thing that gives you confidence that he can become a good major league hitter is the fact that he does take a walk and he has discipline at the plate. Yeah,
left-handed. I mean, it's like a J.D. Drew kind of a stat line with the on-base percentage and all that.
And it's a small sample right-handed. It doesn't mean he can't hit right-handed. It just means in a small sample so far this year, that's what's happened.
Taking to go to 2-0, that's something no Kansas City hitter has done yet.
So you can't be afraid to take a strike. The Royals really hit like they've got 2 strikes when they come to the plate. Anything close, they don't want to take a chance on being called out. But you have to have the confidence to be able to take a strike, maybe even take another one if it's not the pitch that you like.
Take a strike to get a better strike, right?
Yeah, so Salty's taken 2 strikes, but he's seen 4 pitches. He's worked the count to 2-2.
Now you don't have the luxury of taking something borderline, but
you know, it's a little different now. But this will be the 5th pitch in this at bat rather than hitting the first thing you see.
Oh, he takes here, and it's called 3rd strike. But approach-wise, I'm with you. I mean, 2-0, you don't have to swing just because you're in a fastball count.
No, sometimes you'll see a guy take a pitch, and a disciplined hitter, Milton Bradley, for instance, and you'll say, man, I wonder why he took that pitch. Well, maybe he was looking for a different kind of pitch in a different location and has the discipline to say, okay, if it's not here, I'm not going to swing at it. Now the 2-2 pitch, Jared was going to swing at that. He just didn't think it was a strike, and he got called out.
Well, let's see, that's 6 takes in a row now for the Texas Rangers. The Royals, the entire team through 2 innings, has taken 4 pitches. Oh, check that, 5 pitches. Sorry about that. 19 pitches from Harrison, and the Royals have swung at 14 of them.
You know, a lot of times when you glance briefly at a stat line for a young player, say in another team or a prospect, you tend to focus on batting average. Guy's a 305 hitter, 295 hitter. But I think more and more, as the game progresses and stats are analyzed in a different way, on base percentage is the first thing you look at. How many walks, how many strikeouts with a young hitter. You may see a young hitter that's a 260 hitter, but you look a little further and you see 22 walks, 19 strikeouts, 22 walks, 30 strikeouts, and an on-base percentage of 350 or 360. You say, well, he's going to improve as a hitter, and I like the fact that he shows some discipline as a young hitter. That gives me the feeling that he can become a good hitter. You see a guy with 4 walks and 42 strikeouts who's a 300 hitter.
Right.
Well, as he gets to the big leagues and he lacks discipline, the guys aren't going to throw him the same pitches he's been seeing in the minor leagues. It's going to be tougher to hit. And it's, I think, tougher to project that kind of a hitter as a good big league hitter if he very seldom walks and strikes out a lot. It's just a bad combination.
Arias flies out. Davis stays at first, and Brandon Boggs, another of the younger but more disciplined hitters, so we can talk about. Heck, Ron Washington's had Boggs in the leadoff spot at times since Kinsler's been on the DL, and the whole reason for that was, hey, this guy, he takes pitches.
Look at his line. He's been up 250 times. That's about half a season, a little less than half a season, but maybe half a season.
Davis straying too far off, and well, we talk about youth and what it does for you. Sometimes it boomerangs. Davis just a step too far off the bag, and a veteran catcher, Olivo, able to get that ball and take care of Crush Davis. Matt Harrison was just raring to go. In fact, the home plate umpire, Paul Emmel, had to tell him, chill out. The Royals TV guys are still in commercial. The Rangers are still in commercial, so hang on. And now, here we go. The pickoff to end the last inning. Take a look.
The reason that Chris took a step towards second is that ball bounced. It looked like it was going to be possibly a wild pitch, possibly kick off the catcher and allow him to go to second on a wild pitch. Unfortunately, he saw the ball in the dirt, got a good jump towards second, but Oliva picked the ball, went right in his glove, and he caught it. And then threw to first base and got Chris. So it was a good idea to get into scoring position. Oliva just made a nice play, caught the wild pitch on a bounce and threw to first.
The Rangers in danger now of issuing their first walk of this entire series. 3-0. Now 3-1 to Mark Teahen.
Watch the ball go in the dirt. In fact, it bounces way out in front of the plate. And it really very seldom will a catcher catch that ball in his glove. And if it kicked off him just a little bit, then Chris would have gone to second base.
Harrison fights back from 3-0 to make it 3-2. We've talked about Harrison, the 3 quality starts. 3-0, ERA of 1.69. Otherwise, though, the ERA has been a little bit north of 10. He's been bouncing from one extreme to the other so far in the big leagues. There's the first walk of the series. And the first in 24 innings now for the Kansas City Royals. Esteban Herman coming up next. Folks, with Ozarka Website Wednesdays, you can order half-price tickets online for the game coming up this Wednesday afternoon. That is a day game against Seattle. Brought to you by Lone Star 92.5. You can get that done by going online at TexasRangers.com. Ball getting away as Herman showed bunt. Down to second base goes Mark Teahen. Wild pitch is how it will be scored. Ball just kind of running in. So in a scoreless game, runner in scoring position, nobody out.
Just changed it to a pass ball.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Okay, pass ball. That did hit the glove of Saltalamacchia. Scoreboard calling for noise here in Kansas City, and they gave it the best they could. There's the bunt, and it dribbles foul. We talked about it yesterday. That is some kind of scoreboard. When the crowd is told by the high def scoreboard to make noise, boy, you better do something. Especially once the sun goes down, the lights take effect here. That thing just glistens here at Kauffman Stadium. Herman will push the bunt, foul again, 2-2. Herman was the pinch hitter yesterday when the Royals actually had the tying man at second, winning run at first. And true to form, a first pitch swing by Herman.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting last night. Kevin Millwood asked for Andy Hawkins to come to the mound. At first, Ron Washington thought he was injured, but Kevin couldn't remember Esteban. Herman, not Esteban Duran.
Just keep saying names. That's okay.
I think he can remember Esteban Duran. I don't know where he'd remember him from, but he wanted a scouting report on him. Couldn't remember the scouting report, so he called Andy Hawkins out, told him he was an aggressive hitter, tended to swing at the first pitch. Kevin said, okay, I'm not going to give him a good pitch to hit. Gave him a slider out a little bit outside. He hit it right off the end of the bat. Ground ball to shortstop and ended the game.
That ball muscled towards right field. Nelson Cruz on the run with a dive, and it came out. It would have been spectacular. Chance to get him at the plate, though. Too late. Tian kept on running, and Kansas City has scored.
An incredible try by Nelly Cruz. Went as hard as he could, as long as he could, and dove actually going toward the fence. Had the ball in his glove, but the impact from his body hitting the ground knocked the ball out of his glove. Good relay throw. Arias's throw was offline coming home. Otherwise, they had a shot at Tian coming home. Got that ball right in the tip of his glove right now.
Oh.
And just can't keep it in there when he hit the ground.
So still a runner at second, still nobody out. Mike Avila's top of the order, takes a strike. Avila's pops it towards Michael Young. One down. Rangers go to Anaheim when this game is over. A 4-game series starts tomorrow against the Halos. The Angels playing Oakland tonight. That's Joe Saunders on the mound for the Angels tonight. He can get to 15-6. What a year he's having. Another young pitcher we can talk about in that universe tag, that would be Glenn Perkins of Minnesota. He won today. He's 12-3.
They've got a couple of good lefties with Perkins and Liriano.
Twins needed that. They had a little bit of a losing streak, had fallen back a bit in pursuit of both the White Sox and the American League wild card. Minnesota a 6-5 win over Seattle. Remember, the Twins are on that 15-day road trip, playing 25 out of 30 on the road overall. The Twins a game and a half back now in the Central as Callaspo swings and misses. There's your up to the moment Jack in the Box standings. Chicago has already exceeded last year's win total. Cleveland's won 8 straight to get up to 64-67. Busted bat, and Michael Young will make another catch. 2 straight fly ball outs from the top of the order, Aviles and Callaspo.
And a good pitch, looked like a cutter, came in and got him right off the fists, right off the hands.
No, Tag, we were just talking about that Cleveland team, and obviously the series that the Rangers and Indians just played. I mean, it was incredible how many times the Indians had 8, 9, 10, even 12 pitch at bats. Our great stats guy John Doolittle just reminded me that we have not yet seen a single 8 pitch at bat this entire series from a Kansas City Royal. I bet we saw about 24 from the Cleveland Indians in that series just played.
Yeah, and it was with Cleveland. It wasn't because they were take. They just fouled off a ton of pitches in that series. I thought it was remarkable how many foul balls were in that series.
Rangers failed to win a single game against the Tribe. To Jesus, a ground ball to second. Matt Harrison ends up giving up 1 run, although Nelly Cruz almost saved him from that with a great try out there in right field. Rangers trail by 1 at the end of 3.
Step up and swing. It's Rangers baseball on FSN Southwest. A big series on the road sets up Josh Hamilton and the Rangers to take a shot at bringing down LA's American League powerhouse. Rangers Angels Sunday on FSN Southwest.
Tonight on the final score presented by DirecTV. The Red Sox and Yankees continue their final series at the old stadium. And Andy Roddick begins his quest for a second U.S. Open title. All the day's highlights in 30 minutes. It's the final score.
There's no crying in baseball because there's no junior high in baseball. There are no popularity contests, no bathroom bullies, no wedgies in baseball. There's no summer school, no spelling bees, and there are no short gym shorts in baseball. And that's why you could use some more of it.
Our Aflac trivia question as we get to the 4th inning. The Rangers franchise record for most consecutive complete game wins by one guy. Kevin Millwood now is at 2 in a row. I guess the key hint here is the Rangers franchise. Remember, a franchise that began in Washington, D.C. We begin in the 4th inning. Brandon Boggs only in the game because Josh Hamilton is out. We just now received word on why Josh couldn't go tonight. He's got an abscessed tooth. And boy, if you've ever had one of those, that is painful. Brandon Boggs sends one in the air right field. That ball takes off. That ball's towards the fountains. That is a home run for Boggs. And the Rangers tie it up 1-1.
I talked about Bannister giving up 8 home runs in his last 3 starts. Brandon struck out his first time up, but launched one about 400 feet this time up. Wasn't any doubt. All you had to do was watch Guillen. He never even took a step.
Boy, one man's toothache is another man's opportunity.
Well, that's exactly right.
And Boggs, whose first big league home run was against Brian Bannister, now his most recent home run has also been against Brian Bannister. There's a pitch before. And there's the home run ball.
Yeah, we're talking about Brandon while he was up there at the end of the last inning.
Michael Young in the air to right field. Out number 1.
Then there's a guy, he's hitting .232. Well, if that's all you look at as batting average, that doesn't sound spectacular. But if you look at a little further, you'll see that he's walked 40 times in roughly half a season of stats. Over a full season, that's 80 walks, and he has a respectable on-base percentage of .340. Well, you have to think as he plays a little bit more, he's going to get better as a hitter. The plate discipline, you would project, will probably be there. The average will go up, and all of a sudden his on-base percentage goes up along with it. So to me, that's a real solid indication that Brandon has a lot more potential than you've seen this year, because he is a disciplined hitter and has walked 40 times.
Remember, Boggs got called up and began his big league career 4 for 4. That was against his Kansas City team, and included the home run against Bannister. That pitch down and into Bradley.
And one of the ways Brandon can improve as a hitter as far as batting average goes is to cut down on his strikeouts a little bit. His strikeout totals are a little bit high. Not unusual for a young player.
Close one, but Milton Bradley takes it. I think Boggs' approach up there is very similar to Bradley's.
Well, if I was a young hitter on the Rangers, I would watch Milton Bradley.
And Milton, the league's leading hitter and on-base guy, is on again. That was actually a 2-2 pitch. Yep. We had it right. The scoreboard had it wrong. 2-2. Knocked into center field. Another big series for Milton Bradley here in KC.
Watch Milton Bradley and his approach, how he takes batting practice. I talk to him. What are you thinking about at the plate? And hopefully you pick up some little clues along the way as to how you can become a little bit more of a disciplined hitter too.
Always amazes me how much the guys talk shop. You know, I mean, they're around each other at least 8 to 10 hours a day, pretty much every day for 7 months. And yeah, they talk about some other things too. They'll, you know, they have their fantasy football draft and they'll talk movies or whatever. But how much time is spent just breaking down how to be a better hitter, how to do this better, that better? I don't know if every clubhouse is like that or every batting practice is like that, but sure seems like the Rangers have that going on. 2-1 now, the count to Blaylock. High fly ball from the hammer. Shallow left center field. Aviles backing up. That is out number 2. Well, we mentioned Minnesota beat Seattle. A couple other finals from today over in the National League. The Cubs ended up sweeping the Pirates. Got a 2-0 win today and save number 27 for the native Texan Kerry Wood. As the Cubs go to 83-50. Up 5.5 on Milwaukee now. Swinging a foul by Bird. San Diego rallied past Arizona 5-4. Save number 27 in that game too. That for Trevor Hoffman. I would think now that more and more relievers are getting into the Hall of Fame. Trevor Hoffman and Rivera are a couple guys that'll be there when they decide that they're done playing. Arizona lost a 4-0 lead in that game, and that would have been career win number 295 for the big unit. I know he was hoping to get to 300 by the end of the season. He's going to have to pretty much win out now to make that happen. Milwaukee is leading St. Louis tonight 1-0 in the third. They beat the Cardinals yesterday 12-0 in St. Louis. Strike 3 called, but the Rangers have tied the score. A Brandon Boggs home run has made it a 1-1 ball game here in Kansas City.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
Aflac.
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac.
Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Got to get the Aflac trivia question answered in the bottom of the fourth. Don't want to be a scofflaw and Answer it, say in the bottom of the 6th or something, they'd come after me for that. Dick Donovan had 1 year as a Washington Senator, and therefore he qualifies to be our Aflac Trivia answer tonight. 6 straight complete game wins, the only year he spent in this organization, back when it was in Washington, D.C. There's a base hit for Guillen. Josh Hamilton, moments ago, I guess, talking to people about what has happened with his abscess tooth.
Well, I remember on the plane a couple of weeks ago. Remember when he was asking you for something that deadens a toothache on the plane?
He wanted some Anbesol.
Yeah, so maybe that's something that's been bothering him for a while.
Or Oragel.
Hopefully he's gotten it taken care of. I think the last thing you'd want to do is hop on a plane with that tonight and have to wait till tomorrow.
Jose Guillen, who was in some controversy last night, is going to take off from first here. That ball ripped to the base of the wall by Billy Butler. They got on Guillen for not running hard. That was a perception from one fan yesterday. And to be honest, I kind of disagree with that fan. That was a play that Marlon Byrd made in left field to hold him to a single. I thought that was much more Marlon Byrd than anything Guillen did or did not do.
Well, one thing Guillen doesn't do on a routine single to the outfield, he doesn't go out of the batter's box and take a big turn at first base. Last night and just now, he gets a base hit and pretty much trots to first base and stops at first base. Now, he's probably only going to get a single anyway. But I think what a fan likes to see is a guy go as hard as he can to first base, take a big turn. In case there's a bobble in the outfield, you can go to second base. The way Guillen has gone to first base, I don't say does go, but has gone a couple of times in this series. If the outfielder misses the ball, bobbles the ball, he's not going to get to second base anyway, because by the time the outfielder picks it up, he hasn't even touched first base yet. So I could see how a fan would be upset by that. It's not that hard to run as fast as you can to first base.
Well, the guy who made that play to deny him of second base, Marlon Byrd, that's the guy that you know probably stands as a counterpoint to that. Exactly. Always runs hard.
Exactly. Look at how Arias beat out that ball on a little high throw first out of yesterday's game. You don't know at the time that the first batter of the game hustling to first base is going to make a huge difference, and if the game is going to be 2-1, that he's going to score the first run. The bottom line is there is no excuse for a big league player not to hustle every single time.
Because that's the one thing every fan says, right? That, hey, I can do that. I can run as hard as I can.
Anybody can do that. And, you know, you're being paid a lot of money. The owner has risked a lot of salary for you, and the fans pay a lot of money to come watch you. The least you can do is hustle every minute you're on the field, and I haven't seen Guillen do that.
Infield pinching in at the corners, back up the middle here in a 1-1 game as Olivo fouls another one. I've never heard a fan say, I hate that guy. He gives his best all the time. I hate that.
No, what giving your best all the time can do is buy you a lot of goodwill, even when you're not playing at your best.
That ball hammered foul by Olivo. Right, if you go in an 0 for 30, and, you know, everybody goes into an 0 for something, the fans are going to be much more forgiving if they know, well, hey, this is a guy that, you know, we trust he's doing everything he can to get himself out of this.
No, if the fans at the game, he says, I see that he is, because a guy that hustles stands out. You see him. Most guys do, and those guys all stand out.
Down the right field line.
Might have a throw right here.
Yep, Nelly Cruz will stand and fire. What a throw. And Guillen is chased back to third.
Yeah, with nobody out, you really can't send him, because you know, as an advance report will tell you, that Nelly Cruz has a strong arm in right field, and if Guillen went right there, he would have been out. You know, in Guillen's defense, the one thing that I don't know, that you don't know for sure, is maybe he's got a bad leg, and maybe he's playing while he's hurt. And if that's the case, then you're not going to be able to sprint to first base and take a big turn. So that's what you see. And I would classify myself in that case as kind of like a fan. You come to the game, that's what you see. But you may not know the whole story. So I guess before we indict Guillen, we should know whether he's 100% or not.
Seems though that Guillen's on his way to yet another organization for next year. It's just not working out.
Yeah, the problem's going to be eventually he's going to be hard to get rid of with his salary. It's like a Ponzi scheme. Eventually, the guy that's bought the last share can't sell it.
Did somebody make a bet with you to get the word Ponzi into the game tonight?
No, and I've never suckered for a Ponzi scheme myself.
Rats, I had a good one for you, too. 1-2 the count to Glode. No, you strike me. I mean, you've been a big league GM. You're not going to just be suckered in by some random.
Oh, some people that watched us closely over that period of time might beg to differ with you.
I can't think of a single, well, maybe one trade. The 1-2 from Harrison to Glode. Tap back to Harrison and
run right at him. Run right at him. Keep running.
It's up to Saltalamacchia now. He'll tag him out. And that'll be a long walk back across the field for Guillen, because at least one fan will get on him just for being in the rundown.
Well, the way it turns out, they're probably going to end up in the same situation anyway. That ball's going to be an out even if he throws it to first base. Guillen stayed in the rundown long enough to let the hitter end up at second base. And Matt did the right thing by running at the runner. I think he probably could have done even better if he kept running at him, made him go back to third base, and then threw the ball and got a quick tag. Then the guy that hit the ball doesn't end up at second base. But Matt runs at him. Keep running. Don't throw it yet. You get a quick tag. And even though they got Guillen, you'd love to see the hitter end up at first base and not second base. It's an out, and that's good. But it's even better if the other guy's not in scoring position.
So it's 2 down. The batter, Mark Teahan. He goes after the first one and hoists it into the crowd. Boy, weather-wise, it has been unbelievable here in Kansas City. About 78 degrees right now, probably. We're heading to Anaheim, where we're looking for slightly warmer temperatures, but not by much. Outside corner, 0-2.
Must be some pretty nice pitching if Matt can pitch out of a second and third no-out jam right here.
The stats mavens tell you about 95% of the time you have second and third, nobody out, you get at least one run out of that inning. Up and outside, 1-2. If Matt Harrison could be a 5%er here, that would be great. Be the one guy out of 20 that's able to get out of it. And he could be out of it. That's up to Michael Young. He'll fire. Got him. And Harrison is out of a big threat in the bottom of the fourth inning. We stay tied 1-1. College football presented by Suzuki coming to FSN Southwest tomorrow. Wake Forest and Baylor. Our coverage begins at 7 on FSN Southwest in high def. Thursday is tomorrow, right? Tomorrow on FSN Southwest. We're in the shadow of Arrowhead Stadium here, where the Chiefs play, just across the parking lot.
I'm glad I checked on Jose Guillen.
Okay.
Because I firmly believe the big league player always deserves the benefit of the doubt. And in Guillen's case, he's got a little bit of a hip flexor. He's got a little bit of a quad injury. And Trey Hillman, the manager, has said, look, I know you're banged up a little bit. Just give me what you've got. I need your bat in the lineup. And that's why when you see Guillen trot to first base on a base hit, he's trying to conserve himself and not re-injure what he's already had.
Yeah,
so
they've probably
you have to be fair, and I wasn't fair to Guillen.
Well, they've probably got about 60 to 70% of Jose Guillen, right now. But what Trey Hillman has said, I'll take 60 to 70% of Guillen as opposed to 100% of whoever I'm going to call up if I got to put him on the DL. There's a strikeout of Bird, or excuse me, of Cruz, and Chris Davis coming up.
Well, Bannister's throwing well. He has an average fastball that he commands on both sides of the plate with good movement, a good changeup, and a good curveball. And we seem to see him very good when we're in Kansas City anyway, and he's pitching. And when you watch him pitch, you say, man, I like this guy.
Well, he was the third finisher last year and Rookie of the Year balloting.
He had a good year. He was 12-9, had a 3.87 ERA. And as we mentioned, his ERA this year, even though it's overall 5.89, at home it's 3.79. So he pitches very well in this ballpark.
He has struck out 6 in this game already. Very well spoken. Very sharp guy with good stuff. The son of Floyd Bannister, one-time Ranger. Davis in the air to right. And there is Guillen.
Good pitch that he ran right in on the fists.
Saltalamacchia will come up next. And folks, you can bring the whole family to a Rangers game with the Coca-Cola Rangers Family Pack. Save up to 40% on 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 soft drinks, starting at just $60. That's sponsored by K-Love. Go to TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. The Rangers next at home on Labor Day evening, 7:05. It'll be a long road trip. They weren't home again until Memorial Day. Labor Day is September 1st this year. It's the earliest possible Labor Day you can have. Three-game series with the Mariners. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon. Then the Red Sox come to town. Let's say Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. Saltalamacchia down the left field line. That's fair. He was trying to go the opposite field his last at bat. He was trying to do it really in this at bat too, it appeared, as he fouled a couple away, but now he gets one inside the chalk.
Yeah, he fought off a good pitch. Bannister likes to run the fastball, cut the fastball in on the left-hander's hands. You can see the catcher Oliva jump in there, and Jared slices it down the left field line. Continues to do a good job, good at bats, even though he's not getting regular playing time right now. But he's prepared. He works hard between his starts, not complaining about it. And when he gets his opportunity, he's doing a good job.
A strike to Joaquin Arias. Let's check our Ford leaderboard. That last double by Saltalamacchia. The Rangers at 303. They're up by 23 in the big leagues now over the Cubs. Arias, who had a double last night, down in the count here, 0-2. Broken bat, ground ball. And Aviles fires fires it across the diamond. So we're seeing the good Brian Bannister tonight. Thankfully, the good Matt Harrison as well tonight. It's a pitcher's duel, 1-1, as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Texas Ranger Baseball being brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers and by Aflac Insurance. City of Fountains tag, Kansas City, Missouri.
Sure is. Fountains everywhere.
Part of the motif here at Kauffman Stadium, the fountains. And as they renovate this ballpark, they're leaving the fountains alone. Happy to hear that. Esteban Herman, the batter. Did you wacky Rangers of the 1970s ever, just decide to go for a dip in the fountains?
No. We had some wacky Rangers, but we never did that. I always bet Toby Harrah $1,000 that he wouldn't jump off the bridge going across the little river to the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee.
There's a base hit for Herman. Skips it by Arias.
It was a very tempting jump because you could swim to the side easily, and there was a ladder. It wasn't very high, but you just didn't know what was underneath the water, because I bet you couldn't see a foot underneath the water. But we never did that. I'm surprised no one's ever thrown soap in the fountains out there and had suds all over the place.
How about like 1,000,000 boxes of Jell-O? That would be fun. Herman's a threat to run. After the Royals won their first division title a little more than 30 years ago, their middle infield just jumped on in. Cookie Rojas and Freddie Patek did that. You know what? I can see the Rangers double play combination. If there were fountains at the ballpark in Arlington, I could absolutely see Kinsler just deciding to go for a quick dip. That ball fouled by Aviles. We talk about the Royals, back in the 1970s. George Brett coming up in 1974. Things came together, when you think about it, pretty quickly for this franchise. They were above 500 in just their 3rd season of existence, and that was before free agency. They won 7 division titles in a 10-year period in the mid-70s and mid-80s. Of course, they won it all in '85.
They did a superb job of building a team in all the right ways. They made some really good trades. They used the Rule 5 draft. They scouted well. They signed good draft choices. They developed well. They put together an excellent team. They had everything. They had some power. They had excellent speed. They played great defense. They had excellent starting pitching. They had Dan Quisenberry as their closer. It was an excellent organization from top to bottom. And I think they were a model organization back then. Teams looked at the Royals as that's the way you build a team.
We talked about that Royals Academy that Ron Washington was a part of. I mean, just some out of the box thinking.
Innovative thinking. Absolutely.
But when it came time to add the veterans in '85, one of the big guys that was a part of all that, of course, was Jim Sundberg. He was one of the guys that really helped make the World Series here happen. Rip and a miss by Aviles. Down he goes. Now the first out achieved here in the bottom of the 5th. The Royals had made it to the World Series in 1980, but that was the Phillies' year. Tug McGraw whipping his glove up into the air in celebration in Philly. But yeah, Jim Sundberg, wearing not number 10 but number 8 for these Kansas City Royals, was part of that World Series winner in 1985. Dick Hauser, the manager. One 1-0 to Callaspo. guess that '85 World Series, everybody remembers Game 6. That controversial call at first base. Dane Orge's dramatic hit. Game 7 was a wipeout. The Royals beat St. Louis 11-0. Line shot foul. Boy, that got in there hard.
Don't try to catch that one. Just get out of the way. Turn your head.
Going back to that World Series tag, that Game 7 between the Royals and the Cardinals, and a great World Series anyway, the I-70 series, the two cities of Kansas City and St. Louis separated by about 4 hours drive. You know, the Royals that year had never won a game by 11 runs. And then in the Game 7 of the World Series, they win by 11. That was a great pitching staff they had. St. Louis, remember, was a terrific hitting team. Comebacker gets under the glove of Harrison, though, so the only play is to get it to first. And that will happen thanks to Joaquin Arias.
Yeah, you don't know whether you can turn a double play or not on that, but I think at the very least, Matt had a chance to get the lead runner at second base, but still got an out. You just have to pitch out of a man on second base situation right now.
We're just talking about the Cardinals. They're now losing again at home to Milwaukee. 3-0 now in the 4th inning.
Milwaukee's got a 4.5 game lead on them in the wild card race.
Yeah, the Cardinals really needed to. Well, they lost 12-0 yesterday. They're down 3-0 today. Cubs have already won. Arizona has lost, and the Dodgers are tied with Washington tonight 3-3. That game's in the 7th. Dodgers have 3 solo home runs for their 3 runs. Casey Blake, Andre Ethier, and James Loney, a one-time Houston high school star. Astros, by the way, leading the Reds tonight 2-1. Blooped into left field. That's trouble. That's a base hit. Brandon Boggs is up with it. He fires. Saltalamacchia can't hold it. Would have had him. Nice looking one bounce throw from Boggs. But Salty just couldn't slap the tag down, and Kansas City's now up 2-1.
Yeah, it was an excellent throw from Brandon. The one thing that it did that made it tough for Jared to catch it was it bounced just a little bit close to him. Wasn't quite a short hop, but it was a quick hop. And as the catcher, you're not only trying to catch the ball, but you know the runner's coming and you have to make the tag. It's a strong throw, but if it bounced maybe a foot closer to third base, it would have been a little bit easier to handle. As it was, would have been a nice play. Another strong throw from a Ranger outfielder. Good pitch from Matt, too. His little flare out to left field. Boggs wasn't playing deep in left field, so made an accurate throw. Just a little tough to handle. Jared couldn't quite come up with it.
Now a pop-up by Guillen, and Blaylock will go over and get it to end things here in the bottom of the 5th. The Royals grab the lead, though. It's 2-1 at the end of 5. Sonic Slam inning brought to you by Sonic. The jackpot worth $700 plus tickets to a Ranger game and dinner for 2 at Sonic. Good luck to Tom Bowers of Dallas. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. The guy that has hit a home run tonight leads it off, Brandon Boggs. In fact, he has banked a couple this year against Brian Bannister. 8 big league home runs for Boggs, 2 of them off the guy on the mound right now. And he shortens up and shows bunt instead. But he works the count to 2-0. Brian Bannister came in with that high 6s ERA. pitching very well tonight. Who's making a run at being the guy with the all-time worst ERA in the history of this Royals franchise tag. That is Jose Lima's record now at a 6.99 in 05. And from what I remember, he got taken out just before it could have gotten to 7. He took a 6.99 and said thank you and good night. Boggs turns on this one right down the line. It is barely foul. And tomorrow would have been reviewable if there was any controversy at all. But
that's one of those balls that kind of kicked a little bit past Guillen in right field. Probably would have been a triple if it was a fair ball.
Remember, boundary calls now can be reviewed starting tomorrow by the benefit of instant replay.
And this is what they'll be looking at.
Definitely foul, but just in case they got it wrong, they could have looked at replay to review it starting tomorrow. Bannister rings up strikeout number 7. Three games tomorrow will have instant replay, and ours will be one of them. It'll be Pioneers tag. Starting Friday, it's going to be every game, everywhere. Michael Young taps it towards third. Low throw, and Globe couldn't hold it. Well, that came out of nowhere. That seemed to be a very simple play for Tien, but the Rangers will take that break. Michael Young is on as a tying man. Milton Bradley coming up.
Nope, the Rangers scored last night in similar fashion with a man getting on. It was Arias last night on Avila's high throw. And maybe Tien's low throw will get something going.
Milton Bradley, the switch hitter. I liked your interview with Milton before the game tag, talking about his becoming a switch hitter. Everybody's got a story, I guess, about how that process begins.
I know you had talked to Milton in spring training about that. And
well, we'll let the fans, if they missed it, here's what Milton had to say about it.
It was an interesting answer.
Oh, well, my dad was left-handed and my mom was righty. And so my mom always handed me the bat to hit right-handed, and my dad always handed me the bat to hit left. And so, you know, over the years, I just said, hey, I'd like to be able to do both pretty well. And so I always worked at it and, you know, got to this point.
And he is one of the better switch hitters in baseball now. Switch hitters winning a batting title, that is a very rare thing indeed. Milton's got that possibility here now. Leading the league in hitting at this moment, 325.
I know Mickey Mantle was one of them. Pete Rose must have done it, didn't he?
Yeah, and Milton here swings. Can't get it.
Well, Bannister's doing a lot right tonight. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings.
This is the same guy that gave up 7 runs in 3 innings against the Rangers in Arlington.
He's making a lot of good pitches with his fastball. It must have good movement on it. That ball looked like it tailed away from Milton.
It's a career high 8 strikeouts for Bannister. Blaylock is going to pop it into left. And that'll do it for the Rangers' 6th inning. Royals 2 and the Rangers 1. Folks, you can enjoy dinner in the air-conditioned Diamond Club for only $10 when you purchase a Diamond Club combo ticket. The offer good for most Ranger games. Seats available in 5 price levels, starting at only $35 for dinner in a ball game. TexasRangers.com has more information, and you can also find information on the website about it. A nice thing that season ticket holders can do now. The Rangers and the Season Ticket Advisory Board have established a process for distributing unused tickets from Ranger games that have already been played to various military installations in and around the Metroplex. TexasRangers.com for more information on that as well. That ball lined in a left. And caught on the run by Brandon Boggs.
A hard hit ball right there by Butler. And a real nice play by Brad. To get a ball like that, you have to get a good jump. Your first step has to be a quick step. Then you have to have the speed to run it down. He did.
We were talking earlier, Tag, as you take another look at Boggs getting that quick first step, which helps out. Milton Bradley's run at a batting title. As of right now, Milton is leading the league. There's Harrison. Will be called off here by Davis for out number 2. Ross Glode will come up. You were right about Mickey Mantle. He is one of them. Pete Rose, you're right. Willie Wilson here in Kansas City. Willie McGee across the state.
Yep.
Tim Raines did it. Terry Pendleton did it. Bernie Williams did it. And the most recent to do it, Bill Miller. Remember,
I forgot.
I know, everybody always forgets Bill Miller.
I would never have remembered that Bill Miller won a batting championship.
Not first base umpire Bill Miller. That's a different Bill Miller, the guy that
I do remember he hit a couple of grand slams one day against the Rangers.
Bradley's got a chance to become the 9th player in the modern era, that is 1901 on, to win a batting title as a switch hitter. That was another one, too, if memory serves, Tag, where things kind of went down to the last day with teammates. Manny Ramirez was right behind him. And Manny actually sat out that last day. Bill Miller played and I think had 1 or 2 at bats and then took himself out, or was taken out, one of the two. Probably was taken out, knowing Terry Francona and Bill Miller. I don't think that Bill would ask out like that, but Kinsler is right behind Milton Bradley. That's going to be an interesting little side note as we go down the stretch. Another nice inning for Matt Harrison. Those alternating outings, some good, some bad. This one's been very good, but it's 2-1 Kansas City.
Where Southwest fans go first. FSN Southwest.
Texas Ranger Baseball being brought to you by Southwest Airlines and by Whataburger. The Rangers here trying to get at Brian Bannister. It has not been easy to do that tonight. A career best 8 strikeouts for Brian Bannister. Remember, he hasn't won a game since June 23rd. 9 weeks. But he's leading right now 2-1. There's been an unearned run that's figured in tonight. Or no, check that. There has not been an unearned run tonight. Point being, though, that Matt Harrison has pitched very well enough to have a lead in this game, but it is 2-1 Kansas City. Bannister hitting his spots tonight.
Yeah, he is. You have to give him a lot of credit. As you mentioned, there's a guy who gave up 10 runs in 1 inning 2 starts ago.
Inside, it hit him. It hit Marlon Byrd on the hand. Now the Rangers will get the tying man on, but you hope that Marlon's okay.
Well, we're checking on Marlon. You might mention on Bannister, if you go back to the beginning of the season, in Bannister's first 3 starts, he beat the Tigers, he beat the Yankees, and he beat the Twins. He gave up 2 earned runs in 21 innings. He was 3-0 with an .085 earned run average, off to a spectacular start. And we mentioned the nice year he had as a rookie in his first full season last year. So he has the talent to be an outstanding starting pitcher. He's really struggled at times this year. But it's not a shock when he tunes up a game like this, because he's a pretty good pitcher.
Ouch. It's the time of year. I mean, this is game number 134. There is not a single player, everyday player in baseball now, doesn't have something wrong with him, right? I mean, just some little nagging injury.
Yeah, you've got a sore quad, you've got a turned ankle, your shoulder might be a little sore, and for a hitter, your hands get sore. whether you're hit by a pitch, you might have worn a blister. It could be any number of little things that, you know, people will say, boy, you're a football player, you wouldn't worry about that. Well, you know, football players don't have to throw for the most part of the time.
6-4-3 double play. Well, case in point, Josh Hamilton did the abscess tooth tonight, and we just got word from Cord Connor, from I have a friend named Cord Connor. That's not Cord's last name. Sorry.
I thought you were talking about Mark Connor.
Sorry, Cord. Cord Berry Tripp, the Rangers PR guy, came in and told us that Josh is available in a pinch tonight. That he went to the dentist. They did some drilling and alleviated the pain, at least.
Well, this could be the kind of game where it will be a pinch late in the game, a one-run game where one swing of the bat can turn it around. And it looks like Josh has worked up a little bit of sweat. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's been in the batting cage taking some swings.
Coming up in just a bit, our Toyota truck game break.
I've never had an abscess tooth. Have you?
Yeah, it hurts.
Is it?
It hurts.
I imagine
big time. Yep. You got great dental hygiene, though, so you probably don't ever have to worry about that.
It's improved now, but it wasn't very good as a kid. That's why I've got virtually every inch of my mouth is either crowned or filled.
Outside, 2-2.
It worked very good as a deterrent for 3 children, though. Every time they didn't brush their teeth, I opened my mouth, showed them what it looked like, and just mentioned how painful it can be to have these things done to your teeth.
And they ran screaming for the crest.
They didn't do it in front of me, but they went and brushed their teeth.
Boy, there's that opposite field approach again. It worked for Saltalamacchia. It works now for Davis, who's going to cruise into second base with a 2-out double.
A couple of hits for Chris tonight.
Now the tying man at second base for the aforementioned Saltalamacchia. Two runs, 6 hits for Kansas City, 1 run on 5 for the Rangers. Bannister at 93 pitches now. Been no sign of action in the Kansas City bullpen. Again, the Rangers head to Anaheim, and we should mention too, Tag, that Vicente Padilla is going to be skipped in his start on Friday.
That's right.
That sore neck has had a reoccurrence. They will not DL Vicente, just skip his start.
This curveball.
Dustin Nippert will make that start Friday, we're told. Brandon McCarthy will stay where he is, make the start tomorrow against his one-time White Sox teammate John Garland.
Another good opportunity for Dustin. He had a spot start a while back. Now he's going to get another one. I'm going to make the call right
I
here.
was just thinking that too.
Well, double up. We'll make a double
okay.
call.
All right, I'm with you. That was going to be my next sentence, and then you said it. So
double call coming up.
All right, well, you calling where? You going Fountains?
I'm going Fountain. Yep, I'm going Fountain.
I'm going bullpen.
Right field Fountain.
The 2-1 pitch. Ooh, trying to help us out.
Bannister's done a real good job of moving his fastball from one corner to the other. He's run his fastball into the left-hand hitters and jammed him a little bit. And he's also tailed his fastball away on the outside corner and got some swings and misses. One of the ways he struck out 8 today.
Two and two, 2 out. Not a lot of wind to speak of here. Well, wind we do have is blowing right to left. Bannister's 2-2. In the air, right center field. That ball has a shot off the wall. And Saltalamacchia has doubled to tie the game 2-2.
Man, he was going for the fountain. 389 feet and got a double. We'll take it.
2 doubles in the game now for Saltalamacchia, and the Rangers tag. They are 4 for 6 at the bottom of the order. The 8 and 9 guys have 4 of the 6 base hits tonight.
Yeah, and they're unusual 8th and 9th place hitters too. I think as the years go by, you won't see Chris and Jared batting 8 and 9 very often. They're 2 solid left-hand hitters with power, and that's just one way that you have a strong lineup 1 through 9 is to have 2 guys like that at the bottom of the order.
Well, he almost made us look like a collective genius right there.
Believe me, I'm not complaining. I'll take another offer with a call and settle for an RBI double in a 1-run game any day.
Visit to the mound from Bob McClure. And now Brian Bannister will be left out there to work to Joaquin Arias. So everything's even now. 2 runs for both teams, 6 hits for both teams. And young Joaquin Arias will chop one foul. Remember, with Arias, he pretty much didn't play last year. He missed the entire season except for 5 games. He had that right thumb infection, some lingering right shoulder soreness. Bouncing another one foul. And as we said during the pregame show, you know, we talk about Saltalamacchia. We talk about some other guys who are in that 22, 23-year-old range. So is Joaquin Arias. He'll turn 24 in about 3 weeks, actually, will Joaquin. He'll always be known as the player to be named later in that A-Rod for Soriano deal back in February of '04. In on the hands, and he pops it up. Bannister is going to make the call, and he drops it. Can Saltalamacchia score? Yes, he can. It is 3-2.
That I have never seen in my life.
I mean, we're told all the time the pitchers aren't supposed to catch balls or be near balls, but I mean, there was no choice. That ball was just sitting there for him.
No one else could have caught it. Wow.
That was, I mean, literally low-hanging fruit right there to just be picked for Bannister, and somehow it just didn't happen for him.
You know, and I think he was so shocked that he dropped the ball that he lost track of Jared, who just kept coming around third base. I think if Bannister had immediately picked up the ball, he had a play at the plate, but he was so shocked to drop the ball right here. Watch him. He's not even going to be aware that Saltalamacchia is trying to score right now. Oh, by the time he sees him, it's too late. Good hustling by Jared.
I think, yeah, he was so flummoxed, so embarrassed. And Salty, why not? 2 outs, just keep on coming.
He looked up at the lights afterwards, you know, as if to say, yes, right there. He looked up as if to say the ball went through the lights. And you have to think something like that happened for him to drop that ball. Must have been distracted.
Pitching change has been made. And we'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back. It is 3-2 Texas here in the 7th.
Real man's proudest accomplishment, the win, fire, and the tailgate. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. See what's going on. What are you grilling?
Ostrich burger.
Ostrich? And you gonna wash it down with Miller High Life?
Most certainly.
You guys are 5 yards short of common sense. Can I borrow this beef?
Yeah, take it.
All right, pay attention. Now watch your hair. Smell how good that is?
Yeah.
Beef and High Life and you're in. You with me? Now you're living the high life.
Thank you.
Ostrich. That's not a burger, that's a bird.
The Rangers have taken a 3-2 lead. Brandon Boggs at the plate. A very wacky turn here in the top of the 7th inning. And here to tell you about the new Kansas City pitcher is Tom Grieve. After a base hit for Boggs will prolong the inning.
Now, we were talking about Ramon Ramirez the other night and what a nice job he's done since he came over from Colorado. He's having a good year in relief. And he's got one of those interesting nicknames, Ramon Ramirez.
Yeah.
They call him Ram Ram. Kind of like Bam Bam, only he is Ram Ram. Brandon Boggs greets him with his 2nd hit of the night.
Well, it works for you. I mean, anybody with a Rodriguez name gets, you know, whether it's A-Rod or J-Rod. Lopez, you're always whatever Low. J-Lo, for example. T-Gree didn't exactly.
No, that never made it.
Two on for Michael Young. And whether or not he gets to 200 hits, this is the point of pride for Michael Young, our Geico quote, and the fact that he traditionally has been able, whether he's been healthy or not been healthy, to just keep getting it done in September. And, you know, Michael's had a fracture in both ring fingers this year, left hand and right hand. Not that he's ever complained about it.
Well, baseball, if you're playing every day as a grind over 6 months of the season, a month and a half of spring training, and there are occasions where players do get tired in the 2nd half of the season, and some of them limp to the finish line in September. But for players who are trying to develop a way to conserve their energy and stay strong and be a big performer in September, they should look to Michael Young. And what does he do during the course of the season? How does he work out? What does he eat? How does he sleep? All those kind of things.
Michael Young is denied at 2nd base by Callaspo. Leaping catch. Well, the Rangers would have had another run. But the Rangers do take the lead. 3-2. We'll send it to our studio for the Toyota Truck Game Break.
Welcome into your Toyota Trucks Game Break. I'm Dana Larson. The Rangers have taken their first lead of the game, 3-2. Bottom 7 coming up in just a moment. But first, after tonight, it is off to the West Coast for a 4-game series against the first-place Angels. Brandon McCarthy making his 2nd start of the season, 2nd since returning from the 60-day DL. Friday was supposed to be Vicente Padilla's start, but he's been scratched because of that continued inflammation in the shoulder neck area. Dustin Nippert will make his 2nd start of the year in his place. The Rangers won't have to face All-Star Joe Saunders, but they will see All-Star Irvin Santana and 11-2 John Lackey. You can see that great pitching matchup of Lackey and Kevin Millwood right here on FSN Southwest at 2 o'clock on Sunday. Join us after the game with complete post-game coverage on Rangers Live. It's the Rangers up 3-2, bottom 7 next.
Step up and swing. It's Rangers baseball on FSN Southwest. A big series on the road sets up Josh Hamilton and the Rangers to take a shot at bringing down LA's American League powerhouse. Rangers, Angels, Sunday on FSN Southwest.
Big night for Jared Saltalamacchia. He's catching Matt Harrison, and he's performing at the plate so far. We'll see if the Matt Harrison, Jared Saltalamacchia dynamic can keep on cranking here. It's 3-2 Texas. Taking the lead on, of all things, a little pop-up to the pitcher. Brian Bannister unable to handle the ball that was popped his way. The Rangers, who, again, have never swept a 3-game series in this ballpark. All the years of coming here, they've got a shot to do that. And they now lead tonight 3-2. Ground to foul by Tian. But just like Millwood yesterday, great ratio of balls to strikes and a low pitch count here in the 7th inning. Tian knocks it into center. That's a base hit. The tying man is on. We were talking about Jared Saltalamacchia tag, our AT&T Your World moment. See how Saltalamacchia delivered. First with a double that almost made us dual geniuses because we put in the double call for a home run. But then the hustle around third to score the run.
Yep, the Rangers snuck one right there. They earned the first one with a double off the wall, and then they snuck one in on an error and a hustling base running play.
Herman showing bunt takes the strike. Joaquin Benoit getting ready. Harrison 20 out of 27 first pitch strikes tonight. Bunted foul. The little things are not being performed very well by the Kansas City Royals of late.
No, and you know what makes right now is if it's a ground ball to shortstop and the Rangers turn a double play.
Last time he showed bunt, it didn't work. He hit an RBI double though in the third.
That was then, this is now.
Right. Good point. Somebody should write a book.
Yeah, I've never heard that said before.
We'll check some scores as we go along here in the bottom of the seventh. Got him. Herman, who had the double earlier, strikes out this time.
Oh, it's a big out. Failed to get the bunt down, failed to move the man into scoring position and keep the double play in order.
Talked about the double by Herman, and it almost was the catch of the night. The Coors Light freeze cam. Check out Nelly Cruz. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Well, that's a big guy flying through the air. When he hit the ground, he hit hard.
Mike Aviles has that 9-game hitting streak on the line. The infield hangs a double play depth. That's a good thing. It goes 5 to 4 to 3. Is it in time? No. Laylock stretching, but they couldn't get Aviles.
Well, as Joaquin's arm gets stronger and stronger, he'll get better and better at turning a double play. Right now, his arm is not 100%. And you can see it in this throw. Not a bad throw, but not quite the velocity that he'll have as his arm gets stronger and stronger. Still battling back from that arm injury he had.
Now the Rangers talking about turning double plays. They've already turned 173 of them. The team record is 179. And they could have that done by the end of this road trip. Obviously, the cynics are always quick to point out, well, yeah, there's, a ton of guys on base. The team ERA is dead last in the majors, but you still have to have guys that can turn that double play when given the opportunity. Ooh, just outside to Callaspo. Living on the edge is Matt Harrison.
One of those was on the edge.
That's a strike. Or a hiya, as it's pronounced by Paul Emmel. Three 3-1 pitch. Another hiya, 3-2.
Looked like a pretty good pitch. Quality strike. Was it? Yes, right on the corner.
Tying man at first, and he'll be going now that it's a 3-2 count. Harrison deals and misses up too high. Now you got a decision to make now about how far you let Harrison keep going. You've got a lefty-lefty matchup here, but Ron Washington looks up and sees the pitch count getting up. 99 pitches. That's only the second walk of the whole series for these Kansas City Royals. Call will go to Joaquin Benoit. We'll come back and tell you about him in just a moment. 3-2 Texas for now here in the bottom of inning 7. The upcoming schedule of Ranger games, we've already taken yesterday and Monday and tonight off the schedule. The games against the Royals no longer exist. We're looking at going to the Angels to play 4 and then coming back home. You got 3 against Seattle. That's a day game Wednesday, don't forget. It's a day game on Sunday the 7th as well. But finishing up here in the state of Missouri. And Joaquin Benoit is asked to come into the ball game and retire David DeJesus to keep it 3-2 Texas.
Well, one thing about Joaquin that makes him suitable to get left-hand hitters out is his changeup. It's the old equalizer against a lefty. You don't like a righty-lefty matchup. You like it a lot more when a guy's got the kind of changeup that Joaquin has.
Fastball first. It is 1-0 to DeJesus, who had an RBI single against Harrison back in the 5th. DeJesus, and we talked about lefty-lefty, but you know, DeJesus is the kind of guy that in a few years in the big leagues has proven he can hit left-hand pitching, kind of like David Murphy has done. Two balls, no strikes, and Guillen waits on deck. There's a strike, 2-1. Got the fastball over. Well, the Rangers, as we've talked about, they haven't had a 3-game sweep all year. 8 times they've been on the brink. They've been 2-0, needing to win game 3, but they're 0-8 those 8 games. Wave and a miss. 2-2.
And there's the changeup way out in front of him. Now, if you're DeJesus, you've got a couple of things in the back of your mind now. Will it be a fastball or a changeup?
Right down the line, but foul. Hits are even, 7 aside. In a game where the Rangers do have the possibility of Josh Hamilton coming off the bench. 2 on, 2 out. And the 2-2 pitch from Benoit to DeJesus. Will do it again.
Had him reaching, but he got a piece of it.
It's a rare at bat that's gone on for a while regarding these Kansas City Royals. Again, they haven't had an 8-pitch at bat yet in this series. We'll see a 7th pitch coming here. The error by the starter, Brian Bannister of Kansas City, got the Rangers on top 3-2. Now trying to preserve that 3-2 lead for Harrison is Benoit. Got him, and it was worth the wait.
And changeups that he saw, a couple of them set that pitch up. High fastball just looked that much quicker, and he couldn't lay off it.
Boy, it kind of rocked him to sleep, too.
Yeah.
Waited a while, and then finally, bang, it was on him. And Benoit's out of the inning.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Texas Rangers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Texas Rangers.
Our Fruit of the Loom feel for the game. Matt Harrison, again, has been alternating outings of good ones and not so good ones. This has been a real good one tonight.
Yeah, Matt did an excellent job moving the ball around, mixed in all his pitches, his slider, his fastball, and his changeup, and came up with an outstanding ball game. Gets a hug from the manager. Doesn't get much better than that for a ball player.
The managerial hug?
I never got one of those from Ted Williams.
No, I can't imagine. How about Billy Martin?
I think I might have gotten one from Billy Martin. Not sure Ted hugged many players. I know he didn't hug any pitchers. He couldn't stand pitchers. Yeah. He couldn't even stand his own pitchers. That's how much he despised pitchers.
Kip Wells, a one-time Ranger and a one-time Baylor Bear. He's out there on the mound now, taking over for Kansas City. And Milton Bradley at the plate. Kip Wells just picked up. And if you don't remember him as a Ranger, that's okay. He only made 2 starts. That was in '06. Made it through 8 innings, gave up 5 runs as a Ranger. A couple of halfway decent seasons with the White Sox and the Pirates in the early part of the decade. Bradley, a ground ball to second base. 1 for 4 night for Milton tonight. Jamie Wright now getting ready in the bullpen, and this could be the first time, Tom, if the Rangers bring a 3-2 lead or even a 4 or 5-2 lead onto the 9th inning. First time we see Frankie Francisco as the new closer.
That's the way it's shaping up.
High fly ball from Mr. Blaylock into center field. That'll be out number 2. Frankie Francisco is, I guess as they say in football, next man up. You have Eddie Guardado traded. You have C.J. Wilson on the DL. And Frankie, I think, is ready for his close-up right now.
He's earned the right to do it. So many games this year where he's come in throwing 97 miles an hour and been dominating, and that's what they're asking for him right now. Come in for that 9th inning. Do your thing. He's got the presence, big, strong kid. Not just a fastball pitcher, but he can throw a curveball and a splitter as well. You don't know if a guy can be a closer till you give him a chance. I doubt that many people who saw Eddie Guardado in the minor leagues or early in his big league career thought he'd get all the saves that he got.
Yeah.
But you give him a chance and see what he can do.
Marlon Byrd pounds it by a diving Aviles. And still wincing a little bit. Remember, he got hit in the hand by a pitch a couple innings ago. Actually, last inning. Again, late August. Chances are you're banged up. College football Saturday presented by Acura, returning to FSN Southwest. Doubleheader action beginning with the college football kickoff show Saturday at 2 in high def on FSN Southwest. Here is Nelson Cruz, and he's going to pop one up just like Blaylock did, although this one stays in the infield. The Rangers are done in the top of the 8th, clinging to that 3-2 lead in Kansas City. What you missed. Let's take you back to the 3rd inning when Nelson Cruz almost made the play of the week. The Royals ended up scoring a run. Brandon Boggs would rifle a home run, his second this year against Brian Bannister. BB hits it off a BB. And the game tied at that point. BB of KC could not make this catch. Brian Bannister just muffed it. Saltalamacchia scored. And the Rangers, you saw the reaction in the dugout. The guys couldn't believe it. That ended up being a run, but that's fine. 3-2 our score. And Jamie Wright, one-time Kansas City Royal, takes over.
He's got the middle of the order. Guillen, Butler, and Olivo.
Jose Guillen, who again has been hearing it from the fans, but I don't see any other Kansas City Royals with 80 runs batted in, Tag. He's the one guy that's been consistently performing for them this year.
His average is down a little bit. He's only hitting 249. But he's hit some doubles, hit some home runs, knocked in some runs on a team that sorely needs some power in the middle of the lineup.
Strike to Guillen. Jamie didn't spend a lot of time here in Kansas City, but he pitched well as a Kansas City Royal. The Rangers have really asked a lot of Jamie. You know, he's traded roles just like Scott Feldman has traded roles this year. One going from starter to reliever, the other from reliever to starter. Wright and Saltalamacchia trying to same page it here on 1 and 2. Boy, it looks like Cleveland's going to win again, Tag. They're going for 9 in a row. They're up 9-5 in Detroit tonight. Shin-Soo Choo with a home run. Kelly Shopik with a home run.
Well, Tampa Bay beat Toronto too, 1-0. Matt Garza. I don't know if he went 9 and got a shutout, but he pitched shutout innings anyway.
Actually, that would be 10 wins in a row for Cleveland. I stand corrected. They're already at 9.
Pretty good streak. They could have used that streak in April or May to get everybody excited. They're doing it with some key guys out of their lineup. We mentioned that when they were in Texas.
Bouncing ball. Michael Young makes the play. Guillen. And again, he kind of pulls up towards the end of his run to first base. And as you said, Tag, he's a guy that's nursing a couple of injuries. The fans don't seem to care that much.
Well, your first reaction is you see a player do that and you go, he's not hustling. But you owe the player the benefit of the doubt to look into it further, and it does turn out that he's got a little bit of a hip flexor, a little bit of a quad injury. He's playing when he's hurt, much like Milton Bradley's doing right now. And there are times where you just can't go 100% without risking an injury that'll knock you out of the lineup, and both teams need both of those guys in the lineup.
I have no idea what's so funny in that dugout, but
one thing about Milton, though, is when it's an important play, when he needs to beat out a ball or score, then he kicks it into, he'll risk injury to try to get there quicker then.
He did that the other game back against Cleveland.
Yeah, I thought he did re-injure his leg. Well, he'll be careful when it's the right time to be careful, but he'll go hard and risk furthering his injury when he has to.
A couple of ground ball outs induced by Jamie Wright. Now he bends in a breaking ball to Olivo.
That was a bender, boy. And one thing you're seeing tonight is Jamie with a little bit of rest under his belt. Hasn't had to pitch every day. He's had a couple of days off, and his fastballs, last one was 94, curveball sharp.
Boy,
slider's pretty sharp.
Keep on bringing it, Jamie.
He's seeing his best stuff right now. It's just a good example of why it's so important throughout the course of the season to get innings from your starters. It keeps the bullpen rested, makes them fresh, and allows them to be at their best when they come into a ball game. There's not much you can do when the starters aren't giving you innings. You don't have a 20-man pitching staff, so the bullpen has to work hard. And when they pitch 3 or 4 times a week and they have to add innings to that, not just a third of an inning here or a third of an inning there, but they're going on 1 1/3, 2 innings. They get a little tired and they don't always bring their best stuff out there. But when they're rested, then you at least see them at their best.
In the air from Miguel Olivo. Very high, a little bit deep, but not deep enough. And Jamie Wright is through the 8th. It is 3-2 Texas.
Amanda.
Gary.
Wow. You look amazing.
Same old Gary.
No, listen. I'm sorry about the way things ended. I was immature, but I've been doing some soul searching. I've matured.
Bye, Gary.
You can't always be smooth, but your beer should be. Brewed for a smooth taste that's never bitter. Keystone Light is always smooth. Even when you're not.
Step up and swing. It's Rangers baseball on FSN Southwest. A big series on the road sets up Josh Hamilton and the Rangers to take a shot at bringing down LA's American League powerhouse. Rangers Angels Sunday on FSN Southwest.
The Lincoln Mercury Betterview pitching matchup. Here you have it for tomorrow in Anaheim. The game will be over on My 27. Brandon McCarthy and John Garland, 2 former Chicago White Sox, will have at it in uniforms that have nothing to do with the White Sox. It'll be the Rangers and the Angels starting a 4-game series tomorrow. Kip Wells, native Texan, on the mound here against native Texan Chris Davis as we go into the 9th, and the Rangers leading 3-2. Boston's defeated the Yankees tonight 11-3. Had a 7-run top of the 8th. And speaking of the White Sox, Baltimore all over Chicago 11-3, same score. Well, Aubrey Huff having a heck of a year for the Orioles. 29 home runs now. Another native Texan to tell you about. And one more for good measure. Kelly Shopik, home run number 17 for Cleveland. The Indians leading the Tigers 9-7 now in the 9th inning. Davis a rip and a miss. Make it 2-2. Well, what do you figure? Frankie Francisco getting a shot to close this one out.
I think he's excited for the opportunity and probably a little bit nervous for the opportunity, which is perfectly natural. I don't think a closer, even Mariano Rivera, ever comes into the game totally calm on the inside. He looks like that on the outside. But I think you have to have that kind of adrenaline pumping, be a little bit nervous. Doesn't mean you're not confident. Just means you're anxious.
It can be 3 or 4 days of total inactivity, then 15 minutes of sheer terror.
Yep, it's all on you.
Strike 3, and Davis knew it. Still a good night. 2 for 4 for Davis, and the guy coming up next, 2 for 3 so far, Saltalamacchia. Tag, you mentioned Matt Garza. He went into the 8th, and the Rays beat the Jays 1-0 tonight. Tampa Bay gets to 80-51. They're 29 games over 500. They've never been 5 games over 500 until this year.
Well, I saw a report that Evan Longoria could be back maybe within a week or so, week or 10 days. That would really help them. Get another big bat into their lineup, and excellent defense at third base.
All right, now it's Tampa Bay by 3.5 over Boston in the East. Again, the Red Sox routed the Yankees tonight. That was Paul Bird getting that win. Nice pickup for Boston. Saltalamacchia has already doubled down that way tonight, but he fouls it this time. Angels are trailing the A's 1-0 in the second. And again, that's where the Rangers are going next, out to Anaheim to play those Halos starting tomorrow night. Saltalamacchia lifting it into center field. He's got a 3-hit game.
Oh, you know, we talked about Saltalamacchia in the pregame show. A kid that's not used to not playing on an everyday basis, but he's in the big leagues. Gerald Laird's the regular catcher. He's not catching regularly, but he's doing everything he has to do to be prepared for his opportunity. And when he comes up to bat, he's a tough out. He's been hitting .340 for quite a while. With not regular time. He's having an outstanding season, especially batting left-handed. Talked about that. His on-base percentage is over 40%. He's hitting over 300. He's had 3 hits in this game. Scored a run, driven in a run. Good game for Jared.
The fact that he's worked so well with Harrison tonight. Harrison on line to get that win, right, for the Rangers?
Yep. Yeah, Matt could go to 6-3. The Rangers hang on and win this game.
It'll be the middle of the order for Kansas City in the bottom of the 9th. And that's the test for Frankie Francisco. On the ground, nice play. Aviles gets 1. They get 2. Neatly turned 6-4 3-DP. And now the Rangers have to hope that the bullpen holds it for Harrison. It's up to Frankie Francisco when we come back.
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly to your favorite vacation destinations on Southwest Airlines starting at $69 one way. But hurry, seats are limited. So book now at southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
It would have to be Seinfeld. I watch the reruns all the time. I really love Seinfeld. I've got all the episodes on my iPod too, so even on the plane when we're traveling I watch them. But the one that's on now currently that I like is The Office.
Frank Catalanato brought to you by Dodge, your Texas truck stop. Cat not yet in this ball game, and actually, if all goes well, no offense to Cat, he will not have his services needed tonight. It could be a 3-2 final. Ron Washington's favorite score, right? 3-2.
Well, he's got one right here. Frankie can hold him.
Frankie does not have a save in the major leagues. He's got a chance to get one right now and get many more going forward. C.J. Wilson's on the DL. Eddie Guardado's a Minnesota Twin. Joaquin Benoit is back to being the 8th inning guy and even the 7th inning guy. I misspoke earlier too. I was talking about the middle of the order coming up. Meant the bottom third, not the middle third of the order. And it sure is Glode, then Tian, then Herman. That's the guys that are due. For the most part, as we've talked about all series, it's a bunch of Royals hitters that are highly aggressive. And here's where I would suggest, I guess, that a patient approach would be just fine if you're Kansas City, because you need a base runner.
Well, Glode did take a strike. I guess that for Kansas City's pretty patient.
Hasn't really thrown a strike yet, but it's 1-2.
Got the call on the second pitch. And then Glode swung at the third pitch, just slightly out of the strike zone. Not terrible pitches. That's a
oh, Saltalamacchia, did he hold it? I guess it wasn't foul tipped. It is a strikeout. The first out here in the 9th inning.
Well, it sure sounded like a foul tip.
Yeah, I kind of bid on that one too. But Glode is out.
Maybe he ruled that he hung on to it long enough. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's a foul tip. He's got it. And then he lost it when he went to transfer it to his hand. Yeah, I thought it was a foul tip. Otherwise, he would have had to tag him at first base.
Yeah, he had it and then was just trying to take it out of the glove, and that's when it fell out. So here's Mark Tian. And Tian first pitch swinging. Thank you very little.
Fastball right off the hands.
2 down for Frankie Francisco. And if there were butterflies about the whole closers thing, they probably flapped right away right now.
Well, the big thing you have to do as a closer is throw strikes. No room for being wild as a closer. As a starting pitcher, you can have a little wild streak and pitch your way out of it. You've got time to do that. But as a closer with a game on the line, especially with men on base if you come in or in a one-run game, you just can't afford to walk anybody.
These guys know each other very well from back in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Herman and Frankie Francisco. No need to call out Andy Hawkins for his scouting report tonight. Millwood had to do that with Herman in the 9th inning yesterday. But these guys have known each other since they were kids. And so far, advantage Frankie Francisco. Don't forget Rangers Live coming up after the game. Got it in there. It's 1-2.
Nothing but heat so far from Frankie.
Keep bringing it. That last one at 96 on the in-stadium radar.
You know, Herman is really not a threat to hit a home run, and so you really don't want to give him an off-speed pitch that he might be able to get out in front of. Just pound that strike zone with a fastball.
Yes, he did, and the ball game's over. First big league save for Frankie Francisco, and it didn't even take too long. The Rangers win by Ron Washington's favorite score of 3-2. Just a 9-pitch 9th inning needed for Frankie Francisco. Matt Harrison gets another win, and for the first time ever, the Rangers have swept a 3-game series at Kauffman Stadium.
And it's the first time this year for a 3-game sweep.
Yep.
Of anybody this year.
The Rangers had had 8 previous opportunities to complete a 3-game sweep this year, had not stuck the landing until tonight. Well, congratulations, the Rangers, who were swept at home over the weekend by Cleveland. They turned the page very quickly, beat the Royals here 3 in a row. Rangers Live coming up. Again, your final here tonight. Texas 3 and Kansas City 2.
the FSN studios. Rangers Live coming up in just a moment. Dana Larson and Steve Busby here with you. Buzz, no Josh Hamilton, a rookie on the mound. They still got it done.
They got it done and took advantage, as we were talking in pregame, about some mistakes that Kansas City made. That's fine. When you're playing well, you take advantage of mistakes. You don't make them that cost you ball games. And that's where the Rangers are right now.
Another low-scoring one-run victory for the Rangers. You got to love that. It was a good night for Jared Saltalamacchia at the plate and behind the plate. We'll hear from him coming up on Rangers Live. All that and much more is still ahead. But first, we get you back to Josh Lewin and Tom Grieve after this.
Texas Ranger Baseball on FSN Southwest, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Please don't fly with us. Visit southwest.com. By Progressive, for a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. And by your Texas Ford dealers, Ford is the best in Texas. The Rangers have swept the Royals. Your final tonight, 3-2. Tom and I will come back momentarily. Dana and Buzz are standing by. They've got a highlights and analysis as part of Rangers Live here on FSN Southwest.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
Aflac. The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
One man's toothache is another man's opportunity.
That's exactly that I have never seen in my life.
Another day at the K, another W in the books for the Rangers. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Rangers Live, the post-game edition. Dana Larson and Steve Busby here with you. The Rangers are going to be sorry to see Kansas City go. They've had a good time out there, and the frustrations of that homestand, boy, make this sweep feel awfully good.
Yeah, really important, Dana. You know, they know they're going into Anaheim for 4 very difficult games against an excellent ball club in the Angels. But what you want to do is kind of wipe that slate clean if you can. Get on the road, get the bad taste you have in your mouth from the home series out of there. And they did that in Kansas City. I thought they played 3 very good games. They got 3 excellent days of pitching, and they took advantage in back-to-back games of some critical Kansas City mistakes, and those came in close ball games.
Well, gaining momentum, gaining confidence. You might say the same for tonight's starter, Matt Harrison. For more on that, we go back to Kauffman Stadium. Say hello to Josh and Tom, guys.
You know, Matt Harrison, if he keeps on pinballing back and forth like this, we'll know when to watch and when not to watch. But I think he's got 2 or 3 in a row of these coming. Right now, it's just nice to see that he's got them at all.
Yeah, the good thing that you like to see with a young pitcher is signs of success for the future. And there's been a lot of those this year. This, in his last 8 starts, was his 4th really solid start. How did he do it? He pounded the strike zone with all 3 of his pitches. His breaking ball, his changeup, and his fastball. He kept the ball down. He kept the ball on the corners. He had good movement. He let his infielders make some nice plays for him, pitched deep into the ball game. Everything you want to see from your starting pitcher, he did tonight. He's only 22 years old, and every time he has a game like this, you project what you're going to see in the future, and it looks pretty good.
2 out of 3 went for strikes, and if you can just keep doing that, good things will probably happen. The Rangers sweep in Kansas City. That's a beautiful thing, guys. We send it back to you.
It is music to the ears. Josh and Tom, thank you very much. Safe travels out west. So Harrison now with his 6th win of the year. That ties him for 3rd most on this Rangers staff. He is just behind Millwood and just ahead of Scott Feldman in that category. And that are the 3 guys we're talking about right here that pitched in this series, and it was good for all 3 of these guys.
It really was, Dana. And you look at those numbers, getting into the 7th inning or through the 7th inning, all 3 of them. And of course, the 2 on the outside sandwiched in between is Kevin Millwood's complete game victory last night. But That is the kind of starting pitching I think that Ron Washington or any manager would love to have. And the ability's there. It's a matter of a little bit of change of thinking, a little bit of change of approach, of wanting to get through more innings, not just pitch counts, but through more innings as a starting pitcher. And you saw what happened with the bullpen tonight. They came in, everybody was fresh, Joaquin Benoit, Jamie Wright, and of course Frank Francisco finishing it off. They hadn't pitched in a couple days. It makes a world of difference.
It certainly does. Matt Harrison, we have seen a bit of maturity from him, and we've seen him work his way through some jams tonight, specifically coming in this fourth inning.
Maybe the most important thing that happened to Matt tonight was this fourth inning. Second and third, nobody out. He gets the soft fly ball. Nice play by Nelson Cruz to hold Guillen at third base. Hit a ground ball right back to Harrison, runs at the runner, gets the out in time. Runners at second and third still, but there are 2 outs. And then the key play, he gets the final out as Michael Young gobbles up the ground ball and throws out Tien. So a very, very good job. And one of the things we talked about with Matt Harrison, the maturing process, how do you put the brakes on the opposition when they start to get things rolling? Can you prevent a big inning from happening? And he learned an awful lot about himself and how to work in those situations tonight. Matt Harrison was outstanding in that fourth inning.
They want to see more consistency from him, but the one thing we have seen is he doesn't put back-to-back bad outings together. Gave up 6 earned runs the next outing, 0. 5, then 1 earned tonight. And those are certainly good things to see. Now maybe we'll see more good and good following each other, the carryover, what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think you will. I think that's the next step for Matt Harrison. And I think that fourth inning, I hate to belabor the point, but that's an important inning tonight for the young man. So he understands what he has to do, not just make good pitches, but when to make good pitches to get out of jams like that. Every pitcher is going to go through situations where you get yourself in a tough spot, and if the more you can face a situation like that and have success the way Matt did tonight, the less they tend to bother you, and the more consistent a pitcher you'll become when you look from game to game to game. And that's exactly what Matt Harrison's looking for and what the Rangers are looking for.
Matt Harrison did his job tonight, so did Jared Saltalamacchia. We're going to hear from the Rangers catcher coming up here on Rangers Live. Just getting started as we continue to talk about this 3-2 victory tonight. It's a sweep in KC. We've got more in a moment.
Get to know the Rangers inside and out as FSN Southwest gets you up close and personal with your favorite players. This is the show built just for Rangers fans. Rangers Insider, Friday on FSN Southwest.
This week on the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Thursday, it's Best Damn's Top 50 Bizarre Plays.
I do not believe it.
This week at 11.
Rangers Live is brought to you by Natty Lights. Now you're talking.
Well, the Rangers close out this series in Kansas City in style. A 2-1 win yesterday, a 3-2 victory tonight. Frankie Francisco finishing this one off for his first Major League save. Welcome back to Rangers Live. Matt Harrison trying to follow suit tonight. Scott Feldman pitched 7 strong in Game 1. Kevin Millwood gave the bullpen the entire night off last night. The rookie took that challenge head-on in the finale. Josh Hamilton, however, a late scratch for this one with an abscessed tooth. So it was Nelson Cruz out in center field. And take a look at this attempt. Unbelievable. He actually does make the great diving catch, but then the ball comes out when he hits the ground. That scores Martin, and it's 1-0 Royals. Too bad on that one. But in the fourth, Brandon Boggs, who was in for Josh Hamilton, hits his first Major League home run off of Brian Bannister. It's another shot off of Bannister tonight. How about that? Solo blast, and we're tied at 1. Then in the fifth, still tied at 1. David DeJesus signaling to left. Ramon going to test behind the Boggs. Throw is there, but the tag by Jared Saltalamacchia is not. Kansas City takes a 2-1 lead, but Salty making amends in the 7th. Jared doubling to right. Chris Davis comes around to score. That ties it up at 2. Next batter is Joaquin Arias, and check this out. Hits the pop-up, good pitcher, Bannister, and oh my goodness, he drops the ball. Unbelievable, and Salty hustling on the play, scores all the way from second base. Incredible, that's a tonight in a moment. Bannister would like to forget. 3-2 lead now, Rangers. Matt Harrison, a great outing. 62 thirds, 2 runs, 1 earned on 7 hits, and yeah, a hug from the manager. To the ninth, it's closer debut for Frankie Francisco, working that 1-2-3 ninth inning and doing it well. And the Rangers get their first sweep ever at Kauffman Stadium, beating the Royals. 3-2 is the final. The Rangers now 66 and 68 on the year. Saltalamacchia at the bottom of that order going tonight, 3 for 4 with an RBI, and had this to say just moments ago.
Jared Saltalamacchia kind enough to join us, and boy, what an effort tonight, Jared. You don't get a chance to play all that often these days, but I guess all you can do is make it count when you do get a chance, right?
Exactly. You got to make the best out of everything, and you know, Marlon Bird's been telling me all year, you know, whenever you get in there, man, you just got to make everyone watch you, and you just got to do the best you can, and you know, that's what I've been doing the past few weeks.
Jared, you had a good game tonight against a kid that was pitching pretty well for Kansas City. What was making Bannister so good tonight?
Man, he was just able to locate. I mean, he was able to get that pitch off the plate and then come in on you and mix in that curveball. His all control was on tonight.
You went to the opposite field on him a couple times, once for a double. Is that a good approach for you when you're batting lefty like that?
Yeah, you know, I'm not trying to do too much. You know, I've been, you know, fortunate to get in there and just put some good swings on the ball, and that's what I've been doing. And I'm just trying to put it out there and play.
Jared, it was a really nice offensive night, but what about defensively catching Matt Harrison? It looked like he pitched a pretty nice game himself tonight.
Yeah, he pitched great. He, you know, was able to locate his fastball, use his changeup. I mean, we didn't really go many off speed. They were swinging at that sinker, and you know, that helped us get a lot of ground balls. And you know, he grew up a lot from you know, when I was catching with him in Double-A. You know, he's pitching to contact, and that's what we need.
Crazy play that got the winning run to score. You got to score that run too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I told everyone I'm fast. I need a stolen base here soon. I got 2 attempts, and I got another show for it.
All right, well, now we believe. Thanks, Jared, for your time. Great job.
Great game.
Thank you.
That was a nice hustle play indeed. Salty, it was his 50th start of the year behind the plate, catching the 22-year-old Harrison, making just his 10th start in the big leagues. He handled Harrison well, and he handled that number 9 spot in the order well.
Yeah, he did everything well. Yeah. Tonight was a great night for Jared Saltalamacchia, and you know, I think what you heard from him in the post-game interview we just heard was that he's kind of had a change of mind about things. He is going to take things, whatever he can do to help this ball club win. It's no longer, well, I should be doing this, or I wish I were playing more, or what have you. But he is doing everything he possibly can, including running the bases. Now, we'll have to talk about that with Brian Bannister a little bit later on. But never taking anything for granted as the runner at second. Saltalamacchia is steaming around third. He just kept on motoring. Bannister paid no attention. He was embarrassed by dropping that pop-up, and as a result, Saltalamacchia scores the winning run. You get a better idea coming around third. All you young players out there, they always tell you to run everything out because you never know what's going to happen. That's the best example I have ever seen for that to be the case. A little pop-up to the pitcher, oh, I've got it, not a problem. It's real easy to kind of dog it around third, just assume it's going to be an out. Nope, not this time, and it cost Kansas City a game tonight. It gave the Rangers a game on in the win column.
Boy, the runs have been scored in such interesting ways in this Kansas City series. And boy, Brian Bannister, I mean, is that one he can laugh about in a couple of days?
Not yet. I think the Kangaroo Court's going to give him maybe till the weekend or so to kind of get over this a little bit. There will be a fine involved if indeed they do have a Kangaroo Court, but he will also get a letter from the Pitchers Union. You can't embarrass us like that. Come on, Brian.
Exactly, us, because you as a pitcher thinking, no way am I losing that one in the lights.
Well, we get maligned enough as it is about not being athletes and you know, stay away from the pop-ups. Well, tonight's a good example. Maybe they're right.
I think it was the speed of Joaquin Arias going down first base. It was a blur. It drew his attention over. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's going to use.
A little wind shear from the runner going by, or something like that.
I don't know. Something happened, but no matter what, the Rangers were glad it happened. It did ultimately become an important run in this game. 3-2 the final there. So back to Josh Hamilton not in this game tonight, and Brandon Boggs has been called on at the last minute a few times this year. He's been called on in the middle of a game, and he seems like he always comes through.
He's been called on in all kinds of different situations. He's just never been called on and been short. Never called on short. And he always has something for you. Brandon Boggs is one of those guys that's always ready to play. He's always has a great attitude. He always uses his skills defensively, offensively. He will always contribute something to a ball game and usually to a win when he gets things going because he's multi-talented. Now, the way things are with the Ranger outfield right now, he's not going to get as much playing time as he did with the addition of Nelson Cruz. The Rangers have to find out about Nelson in the last 28 ball games of this year, but it's going to cut into Brandon's playing time. It's not going to affect how Brandon goes about his business on a day-to-day basis. He will always be ready in case somebody gets an abscess tooth or whatever the case might be.
Whatever the case might be. His second home run in 5 days. That was a big run in a low-scoring game. 3-2 is the final in this one. Still much more to talk about here on Rangers Live. Stay with us. We'll be back. We're starting to look ahead to that rest of the road trip, the big series out in Los Angeles. We've got that and more in just a moment.